setting up. Okay. First of all, Happy New Year to all. And Happy Chinese New Year.
Yes.
Wishing you all have a good health and successful life ahead. Before we start, Varapunya, before we start, would you like to say a few words?
Yes. First of all, Happy New Year to you all, and happy to see you again online for 2023. So I'm happy to see. So hello to Krishna, Nong Chang, Pi Uy, Jonas, Stefan, everybody also. And happy Chinese New Year also today. So I'm happy to be here. And let's build the energy together, create more energy for this year.
Okay, so after 2 months of a break, we're coming back to this sessions again. So today is the first session of this 2023. So I think today I would like to hear from you all these 2 months of break. What did you do? Or did you practice any meditation and any experiences? So anybody would like to volunteer?
Oh, I cannot find myself.
Yes, go on.
Yes, Jonas, we hear you.
Yes. Ah, yeah, okay. I've been reading and mostly audiobooks about Stoicism, and I realized it's kind of a little bit similar also to the Buddhism. So I've been doing that, and I discovered an app called Waking Up from a friend who recommended it, and I've been doing some meditation there, like guided. There's a lot of really interesting interviews about people with all kinds of different experience about meditation. And kind of what helped me the most in the last couple of weeks, could just kind of being quiet within myself, was the realization that there is really only the present moment, that anything that has passed is not really valuable, and anything that will happen anyway. So that's what I can share right now, that to realize that the present moment is all we have, really, and it gives me a kind of peacefulness, that when I'm good, and if I'm not good, I'm doing something to change it, and that's all there is to be, somehow.
So very good, thank you. So anybody else would like to share some of the thoughts of 2 months of not meeting me? Or just disappear with this festivity, Christmas, New Year, celebrations and parties. Okay, right. It seems like nobody would like to expose oneself this first week. Right, let's begin with a short quiet meditation then, right? So leave your all expectations and just wake yourself up and sit in comfortable position. Just close your eyes and spend a few moments on paying attention to the breath. And as I said, breath can be in your nose or in your abdomen, whichever you feel comfortable to pay attention to. You can do that. Okay? So take a long breath and release. Just a couple of long breaths, intentionally doing it, just to wake you up and feel the entire body. And scanning the body from top to bottom, starting from the part of the head. So entire head, observing any tension, tiredness, sleepiness, observing that. And go down to the right hand. So observing any sensation and tension or tightness or sleepiness, just to wake it up. I move to left hand, from shoulder to the fingers. Just waking it up. Any tension, tiredness. Bring that attention to the front part of the body. From neck down to the belly. And back of the body. All the back. From neck down to the bottom. Any tension, any discomfort, just observing them. The right leg. From thigh to the toes. And left leg. Thigh to the toes. and our entire body at once. So like sitting in front of the mirror and looking at your sitting body. And watching how you're sitting and feeling the entire body at present. While you're feeling, wherever your mind settles, whether the breath at the nose or the abdomen, just settling down yourself. So let the mind settle on it and observing whatever is taking place. If you're finding comfortable with the breath coming in and going out at the nostrils, just watching at the nostrils to begin with, just to settling your mind down. Watching incoming breath and outgoing breath. And any sensation that arises, just observing that without judgment, any opinions whatsoever. In the meanwhile, if you feel comfortable with the abdominal rising, falling, just observing it as it rises and as it falls, without making it to happen or without controlling it. Simply being aware of it. Now, just awareness is not enough. In order to let the mind engage with these activities of awareness, make a note of it each time when it takes place. When it's coming in, breath coming in, noticing it as coming in or breathing in, or I am breathing. When breathing out, making a mental note. Basically, mind is noticing it. I am breathing out, or this is breathing out, or out. Whereas if you're feeling in the abdomen and rising, falling. When it rises, rising. When it falls, falling. So it's mentally making a note of each object that is taking place. Energize the mind, wakes the mind up, and actively engaging to be aware of things that's happening here and now. And this active mind help us to realize the knowledge, understanding the realities. And that's how insight meditation begins. To dive into insight so that we can understand the reality pertaining to itself. Okay, gently bring your attention back to your body and to your eyes, and slowly open your eyes. You may rub your hands to wake you up. Okay. Feel as you rub yourself. Right. Okay, so welcome back to our regular session that we have been doing for a couple of years now. And we had a break during this festivity time, and now coming back to this sessions again. So glad to see you all, and I'm glad to know that you're still enthusiastic to learn meditation. I was away to India, in Nepal and Thailand. So it was 44 days away to these places as a pilgrimage, family visit, charity work, and businesses, related businesses. And this visit was pretty much like every single day traveling from one place to another and working in different charitable works in different places. So it was physically very tiring, but mentally very rejoicing and worth visiting. Okay. And most importantly, the experiences that I received at this visit was remarkable, and meanwhile I felt that I am an old monk. Basically, being a monk for a long time, automatically you become a senior monk and you feel old when you have to sit at the front or performing ceremonies in front of so many people. Whereas in Scotland, where I'm living, most of the time I'm staying alone, so I don't feel that I am a senior or a junior. Occasionally when I have visitor monks, those who are staying here for some weeks or months, and then that time there is a slight awareness of, oh, I am a senior, so I have to behave. Whereas when I was in Asia this time, I was like constantly, you are a senior. So felt like being old. And it's quite interesting that each place I went, it's like a more of an insightful, more insight about the place, about the people, and feel the connection with the places and the people. And that's simply because I was trying to relate the teachings of the Buddha and then relating to my experience of meditation and reflecting it. So mindfully reflecting in these situations. That really enlightened me that actually, if we become mindful in everyday life, the whole nature, the whole life becomes so beautiful, so colorful, and there will be no boring. There's constantly new things happening and you will be enjoying it, and then you will be making friends, and there will be no negative thoughts. Right? There will be no negative thoughts. Sometimes you meet new people and yet you have this sense of, oh, being a friendship. Oh, that's a new person. Now you're like inquisitive. You're going into their world and wanting to be a part of the world, you know. So everything becomes so colorful. Everything becomes so wonderful. So that's the experience that I got, you know. And then every step that we are walking, everything that we are doing, when we are doing it mindfully, there is a joy of doing it. And when you are doing it, there is no preoccupied thoughts about this or about that, about this people, about that people, about this culture, about that culture. Nothing. Just no preoccupied thoughts. You're simply there. You're simply there presenting yourself in front of somebody as equal to them. And that welcomes you. That welcomes you into their world, and you become a part of it. And that's exactly what the Buddha's teaching is about. The practice of insight meditation is to take away all the opinions, all the opinions about the past, about the future, about the identity, and so ever. All what you need is being focused in the present moment when you are there. So simply being aware of surroundings. And that's the beauty of the insight meditation. So that's why practice of insight meditation is not about something that's very mysterious, that you have to rely on some teachers, or you have to rely on some divine beings to see things or to relate to things. There's no mysterious stories on it. It's simply we are developing our ability to pay attention to the immediate experiences that's happening here and now, in the moment. And now, if you remember one of the previous sessions I mentioned, everything is happening is new. New things is happening. Like now we are celebrating New Year. So 22 days ago, we were celebrating this New Year 2023. And now again, we are celebrating Chinese New Year. So it's a new. And in the meanwhile, every breath that we take is new. Every experience that we are having is new. Every step that we are going forward is new. So every millisecond, new things is happening. And all what we need is to know that this is new things happening, right? So new things happening, and now what new things happening is in the present moment, here and now. And all what we need to do is to put our awareness in it and become one who knows about it. So new, now, and know, right? New, now, and know. And now once we have once we have known it, right? That's information become a new, K-N-E-W, a past form of something that we have known, right? And the very moment when we have known it completely in its true nature, what we will do, we will not pay any attention on it anymore, because we have fully known about it. We don't need to worry about it at all. So it's easy to let go, easy to forget, easy to let it go. That doesn't mean that we have forgotten, but it's just gone. So that is the concept of insight meditation. Everything is happening now. That is a new information that is taking place. All what we have to do is to go and know about it. And to know it, we have to put our awareness. So that's why there is the saying and going on in the mindfulness world as paying attention to a particular thing when it is happening with your intention, right? So attention and intention. the very moment when you have intention to pay attention, to know that things happening, the immediate experiences happening here and now, that is the living present moment. And that is the one what we are trying to develop, cultivate this quality. Now, each time when we see new things, if we can be mindful, then what happens is that our reaction to it becomes more skillful. If we are not mindful of it, we will be simply carried away with our preconcepts, our perceptions and our knowledge, and we will simply go back into the same circle. Okay? And we will be going back into our own past experiences, knowledge, and whatever we have known, and expecting that into the future, that it must be this way or that way. So we are adding our prejudgment to be the truth. So we are using the knowledge that we have known as the reality, whereas a reality may be something different. Suppose we are going from home to a job, the workplace. It takes about, let's say, half an hour. So this is the knowledge that you have calculated carefully. If I leave at this time, I will be arriving at the workplace this time. So that's the knowledge, right? And then the knowledge is different compared to real you're going. When you go, may not be as you planned. The possibility of delay, possibility of some other obstacles there. So that is the reality. That's not the knowledge. And knowledge is completely different here. So practice of insight meditation simply helps us to live in the present moment with the reality rather than with the knowledge that we have. Now, what is the problem we have is that normally we define our knowledge as the reality. We define and we want it to be as the reality. And as a result, we develop our sense of this is me, that I know is the reality. What you know is not. So we develop this concept of a me and there, me and them. On the basis of what we have known and what we think is the true and what we think is the reality. Whereas when we are walking towards the workplace, experience is completely different. Maybe raining, maybe wind, maybe snow. These are the reality that we are in that immediate experience there. Immediate experiences that we are experiencing at that very moment. So practice of insight meditation is simply to live with that immediate experiences and understanding how it happens. If we are not mindful and we are not paying attention to it, we simply go on with those preconceived thoughts. But whereas the moment when we have mindfulness, paying ability to pay attention to the surroundings, enjoying, then that leads to the real life. And we enjoy, like a few days ago, we had a lot of snow here, and even today, roads are very slippery. So a few days ago, I went to collect the food. We call Pindapata as a tradition that the Buddhist monk will go to collect the food from the houses. Here in Scotland is very difficult, but whereas in Asia, you may have seen, if you have traveled to Asia, in particular in Thailand and Myanmar, you see every morning monks are going and collecting foods from the people. So same practice here once a week now. Before the COVID-19, we did 3 days a week. So this time, 3 days ago, I went for a walk to collect the food, the alms around, and it was snowing. And on the way, I met a guy, a Scottish gentleman who was walking a dog. And I spoke with him, and after I was speaking with him, amazing what he said was, I have been walking in this path for a long time, walking his dog, and he's about maybe 70s. He said that he has been walking in this path for a long time, but he never noticed the beauty of this nature, right? The beauty of this nature. And then suddenly he was able to notice how beautiful this nature is. The different layers of this ground, different layers of this grass, different colors of this, the nature. Because from that top hill, just behind the temple, we can see very far away, miles away, and different landscape. I call it this still wave. It's like a waves, but very still. And you can see the houses, you can see the colors and like that. And he said he never noticed it for so long, and suddenly he noticed it. And he's so amazed to explain each details. He's saying, look at that tree, how tall it is, I never noticed. Look at that mountain, which was, I never noticed. And look at the new houses built up. He was explaining with amazing experience that he never experienced it before. And then he even further on went into, he said that, look at how beautiful our eyes are. Our eyes can see things so detailed. And he even pointed to one bush and he said, look at this little twig. It has got so many other little branches coming out, and this green, and this is this red, this is white. So he was explaining the current moment that he was experiencing at that time. And he said that we have a amazing eye that can go into so detail of all these information. And that's the beauty. He wasn't practicing meditation. He wasn't a Buddhist. And yet the moment when he learned to be in the present moment, right? And observe what's happening in that immediate moment, he could feel the enjoyment. He could feel the joy of that, and the enjoying the surroundings. So that is what the practice of insight meditation is about. We will be able to enjoy our life, and we live our life fully before it ends. We don't need to worry at all. We don't need to look for any different things to be happy. Each day, each moment is new things, new moment, and we can enjoy new happiness. So new happiness is there, right? So that's why it's so beautiful technique that we can learn and we can practice in our day-to-day life. And it's very simple. It's no difficult at all. We don't have to rely on anybody. We don't have to rely on anything. All what we need is to be mindful, or ability to pay attention to what's happening around us, right? What's happening around us without having any preconcept or preoccupied thought, so that we can see clearly what's happening around us in this immediate moment, in the present moment, and ability to experience the entire the moment of what's here, like this man. And in doing so, what happens is that we will receive the greater clarity of things. Like he was explaining all these little twigs and colors and mountains and snows and like that. And we can trust We can trust this information because there is no coloring. It's immediate reality that we are experiencing. And we're able to, link with it, integrating with it, enjoying with it, relating with it. As I said, when I was traveling in India and Nepal and Thailand, I felt like so close, so related. Doesn't matter who I met, doesn't matter how new person that person is. And still I feel the connection. I feel so related. So ability to integrate with that very immediate moment. And the practice is, again, it's simply the ability to be aware. And this is something that we can do, simply not judging, right? Not resisting, and then no clinging. Only three things needed: no judgment or opinion on the things that we observe or we are experiencing, and no resisting, like, oh, I don't want to see this one, I want to see that one. Oh, I don't like this person, I want to meet or sit with that person, like that. There is no like that. And meanwhile, no clinging. Oh, I like that one. That's so amazing. That's so beautiful. I like it. I want to get it, like that. So there is no clinging to anything at all. And this is the concept that we have to learn and then developing it. And the way of practicing is simply focusing and being aware. So with that, being aware basically help us to disentangle ourselves from our preconceived habitual behavior or reaction that we normally do. But we develop the relationship that has got the kindness, compassion, and ability to relate with it so beautifully. Okay, so with this, let's learn to practice again, right? And then after that, we can have a little discussion. So let's practice. So bring your attention to the moment here and now. You may gently close your eyes. And take a long breath, a few long breaths, simply to connect and relax the entire body. So sitting in a comfortable position, gently close your eyes and relax yourself, connect with your body. By taking a couple of deep breaths and relaxing the entire body. No holding, no pushing. So gently breathing normally. I feel the entire body. And bring your attention to the object that you are adapting, whether the breath at the nose or the breath at the abdomen. So developing the serenity or calmness of the mind by focusing on that particular place. Once you have decided, just continuously keep your attention and sensing the body. And the ability to make a mental note of each time when it happens. So today's practice, we will be focusing only on the calming the mind by developing our awareness to the chosen object. So suppose you are comfortable with the abdominal rising, falling, and simply paying attention to the rising and falling of the abdomen. Whenever other thoughts comes or other distraction comes, disregard them, simply paying attention to it, rising, falling, or incoming breath and outgoing breath, and make a mental note, incoming, outgoing, or I'm breathing in, breathing out, or in and out. Whatever other thought comes, just let it float away. Do not cling, do not hold. Keep your attention connected with the object that you have adopted. And with your intention, continue paying attention to it. Without manipulating, holding, or resisting. Just notice what's happening in this moment at the primary object. being mindful and come back to the breath, primary object. Disregard any other thoughts. Every time when any other thought comes, observe, acknowledge, note, and let go. Do not pay any further attention. Observing it, acknowledging it, noting that I have this thought, this distraction, and let go. Back to the primary object, the breath, the abdomen rising, falling. Gently bring attention to your body and to your eyes, and come out from meditation. Okay, and you may rub your hands. Right, okay, so now this is the time to share and question answer. If you have any questions or anything you would like to share, you're welcome. Now, Krishna from London.
Vandana Manteji, and hi to everyone. So pleased to see you, Bante. No.
Would you like to share something?
No, just pleased to see you all.
Okay.
Saying that out of this month, as you have Monday to Friday, we are having Zoom session. Is there any chances to have you on our session, Bante? From Monday to Friday, we got from evening 8 to 9:30. So is there any chances to have you one of the session? Even like half an hour would be, please, Bante.
Okay, we can discuss. You can send me a message and we discuss later.
Okay, Bante. Thank you.
All right, anybody else would like to ask a question or share your experiences or if anything, just for today's practice, finding difficulty or easy or okay. So what I plan to do this year, that following weeks I will be working with the so following sessions I will be talking in a similar pattern like this. Like today we practiced first beginning with the body scan and then finding object and working with the object. So today's practice is mostly to develop our focus attention. So following days, I will try to focus on different aspects of from the Satipatthana meditation, like a body, feeling, and mind, and the phenomena. So that's I will focus on that for this year. Like last year, I focused on mostly in the first part of the Satipatthana, the Kayanupassana or the contemplation of the body. My focus again started with the breathing practice and then different levels of the breathing meditation and levels of understanding how short and long breaths and like that. So similar this year also will go in this way, but we'll be focusing rather than just focusing on one section of the Satipatthana, but we'll focus broadly on each Satipatthana practice. Just to give you a background about the Satipatthana, that in Buddhism records that there are two types of a meditation, that's a samatha and a vipassana. In terms of the samatha meditation, which is known as a tranquility meditation, is again a practice that was before the Buddha's time. So it was practiced by ancient Indian spiritual practitioners, even before the Buddha. So the practice was there. That's why there were different types of meditation. And it simply developed from the basis of the, there is one discourse comes in the long discourse, it's called Aganya Sutra, which speaks about the evolution or evolution of the human world. And in there, Buddha refer that after a certain period of a time, people felt fed up with the system of the community, the system of the society and country. So they went away in the forest to practice contemplative meditations. Right? And with that contemplative meditation, they have developed attainment of calmness and developed up to a certain level of the jhanas, and even gaining certain supernormal powers we call avinya, ability to hear far, ability to see the past, the future, ability to read others' mind, and so on. And with that, then people began to live life like that. And then, having seen the simplicity of living like that life, people, those who feel unhappy in their family life, or sometimes it is very common to have a dispute or or argument in home, and they feel fed up, so they want to have like a short-term living and practice far away from home, living a homeless life. So they went and stayed with the people, those who were living in the forest and practicing so-called contemplative meditations. But they didn't stay. They didn't stay a long time as previous people did, stay in the forest and living there. But after the practice of a certain period of a time, then they went back to homes and family lives. And then they began to record their experiences of this contemplative meditation. Right? And that's how this the tradition called the Shramana, or the tradition called the yogis or meditative culture, developed from there. And it became so part of the society, part of the community, that gradually developed into a person who knows most, or who knows about human beings, about the nature, and so on. And also they have developed the concept, so-called the mediator, or ability to tell the future. And that's how the priest culture developed, and developed their status into a very high status in the communities. So that's why this is, again, not only in the Indian civilization, ancient civilization, but a similar culture we can find in even the Western civilization, whether it's even in the Egyptian culture as well. So that's why this practice of the samatha, or the calming meditation, had been there for a long time. And when we look at the Buddha's previous life histories, so-called Jataka stories, there also we can find that the Buddha himself practiced these in his previous lives. Even while he was a bodhisattva, or known as the person who is striving to be the Buddha. After he had made the vow to be the Buddha, ever since he is known, that person is known as the bodhisattva. And he himself also practiced these samatha meditation along the way to develop his a clarity and understanding the nature of these things. But these didn't liberate them. They had simply ability to gain the knowledge and again coming back again and again. But whereas after Buddha gained enlightenment at the age of 35, after practicing for 6 years, he again went back to the similar practice of a samatha meditation in different places with a different gurus, right? Teachers, like the most example and referred teachers were the Alarakarama and Uddakadaputra. These two were the first famous teachers at that time when the Buddha left the palace, become the monk. So the Buddha, went and studied with them these meditation too. And after working hard and dedicating himself, he realized that this path is not leading to free from this cycle of a birth and a death. So he strived by himself and went on practicing, and with that practice he gained the enlightenment. And after the enlightenment, he has got this way to practice to be enlightened, is known as the Vipassana meditation, and which again comes into Satipatthana meditation, right? Satipatthana Discourse. So that's why the Satipatthana Discourse or Satipatthana practice is the solely product of Buddha's teaching, right? Solely product of a Buddha's teachings. But the rest of other techniques are similar to other contemplative practices or even another religion or faiths. Let's say contemplating the names of the Buddha or names of anybody divine is also there. Or using the crystals, using the verbalization, visualizations, and these were and are still practiced in other religion too. Like even in Christianity, there is a contemplative community that they go into the forests or in the caves and live and contemplate and become saints. Right? They also go and contemplate on a certain stages of meditation, and that's called contemplation. And even any other religion, there is this contemplative community, and then they contemplate and practice simply to gain the calmness of the mind, right? And then gaining the so-called the ability to mediate or connect, and that's how they can write or they become the saints of that particular faith group or religion, like that. So there are these practices, no doubt, but whereas the practice of a Satipatthana meditation is only in Buddhism, okay? Is only in the Buddhism, because that's a self intro practice. You are going into yourself to understand the reality pertaining to itself, and you are the one who are taking on this path, and this path, once we have walked, it leads to the freedom. That's why Buddha said in the Satipatthana that this is the direct path. Ekayano ayang bhikkhave maggo. So monks, this is the direct path that leads to the purification of the beings and leads to the attainment of the Nibbana. So that's what this is, the Satipatthana. And this sutta, again, this discourse was given by the Buddha to a group of monks at the place called Kuru, now currently believed that it is near in New Delhi in India. and this places still exist as a symbol. Historical records also suggest that this place is nearby in India, Kuru. And there are Buddhists visiting there simply to recite the Satipatthana Discourse and contemplate and meditate on that spot, which believed to be the exact spot where the Buddha taught this Satipatthana Discourse. And the Satipatthana Discourse, after he had taught it, he taught to the venerable monks, becomes the most important practice in Buddhist practice. Whoever came to join Buddhism or wanted to learn Buddhist practices simply got the instruction to practice in accordance with this Satipatthana practice. And that again eventually lead to the liberation. And there are references that the Buddha even said that a person who practices the Satipatthana means he is practicing the Eightfold Noble Path. Now again, Eightfold Noble Path is the Buddha's invention. It's a way that leads to the freedom, a way that leads to gaining the real knowledge and freedom. Right? If we go into the teachings of the Buddha, we find that the core Buddha's teachings, we call it Four Noble Truths, right? Four Noble Truths, and that's there is suffering. The suffering has a cause, and this suffering can be ended. And the last one is a way to free that suffering, a way to end the suffering. So in this Four Noble Truths, the first noble truth is suffering. Buddha said that whether the Buddha arises or not, this suffering was there, is there, and will be there. So that's why the suffering is universal. Called a dukkha, is always there. And every suffering or any problems or anything that arises, it has a cause. Without the cause, it won't arise. And when we know that there is a cause, and obviously it can be ended. So there are within this Four Noble Truths, initial three noble truths are common to all, and it is a universal truth whether we believe in Buddha's teachings or not. Whereas Buddha simply offered a path to free ourselves from this suffering, and that path is known as the Eightfold Noble Path. Right? And so this Eightfold Noble Path is the path. Once we practice, that means we are fulfilling the practice of a Satipatthana. Okay? And the practice of a Satipatthana, broadly, that's very simple. Broadly, very simple. All what Buddha is suggesting us to do is basically know this mind. Sorry, know this body, begin with. Okay? Know this body. Let's call it Kaya Nupassana. Ability to be mindful of this body continuously and following again and again to know this body, the reality of this body. And the second is the feeling or emotions, right? Feeling, a sensation. Whatever sensations arises, we ability to recognize that and ability to understand it without any judgments or opinions on it. And this is the contemplation of a feeling. So ability to go back and be aware and follow whatever feelings arises. And the third one is the contemplation of the mind. Whatever state of the mind that we have, we able to be mindful of that state of the mind. Sometimes our mind experiences calm, other times restless, other time feeling happy, other time feeling unhappy, other time feeling so lifted and heavy, and so on. There are 16 stages of it, state of the mind that we can follow, and which again nowadays simply translated to summarize as an emotion. So ability to be mindful of our emotions and how these emotion manifests from what we experience. And so that is the practice we will focus on. And then the fourth one is called the Dhammanupassana. That means paying attention, so contemplating on the natural phenomena, that how this mind-body relates and how this mind-body conditions and how this creates the suffering again. So coming back to the Four Noble Truths again, coming back to the suffering. So these are the four Satipatthanas. That's why it is also known as four foundations of mindfulness. Right? Four foundations of mindfulness. So we try to focus on this practice, and we'll go slowly but surely we will get the clear understanding of this Satipatthana. Okay? So this is, I give you as a background on the Satipatthana Discourse. Right? So this is a path that the Buddha found and expounded and taught us to practice. Right. Anybody wants to, so this floor is yours. Right. It seems like everybody is happy letting me speak. When if I have to speak, sometimes I feel like, I have to stop after 10-15 minutes later, just to refresh that what I'm saying. But if somebody has got something, then I can again go on with the subject. But if nobody is going to say anything, okay, Jonas.
If I understood it correctly, like the first four noble truths, right? First one is suffering. Suffering is there anyway.
Yeah.
And then second one is there's a cause for the suffering.
Yes.
And the third one was there is a way to end it.
The third one is suffering can be ended.
And the fourth one was, did I get it right? Is that the contemplation, the thinking about it and about the system, and that brings you back to the one? No,
the fourth one is a way to end the suffering. Fourth one is a way to end the suffering.
So three is it can be ended, just like realization that there is an end to it, and the fourth is the way to get to that end.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understood.
Yeah. It's like first one is there is a problem. Second one is the problem has got the cause. And the third one is this problem can be ended. And the fourth one is a way to end the problem.
Okay. Yeah.
So another similar is like illness is a problem. Now the doctors will do is to investigate the illness, how this illness came, right? And after investigating this, the doctor, the real doctor, will know that this illness has, these are the causes, and these can be ended. And after that investigation, and the doctor knows that this disease can be ended by this medicine. So this medicine is the way, right? Now you're taking this medicine, and this medicine, according to even the Buddha's teaching, Buddha said that his teaching is like a medicine, and this medicine needs to be taken. It's not like, oh, my master is so good, he has given me a teaching, It's like, oh, my doctor is so good. Now he has given me this medicine, and after this medicine, I will be cured. But if you do not take it, you just put it on your altar and paying respect to the medicine, you won't be cured, right? So you have to take it in. So that's why taking this medicine is the way. Yeah? So this
Practice.
the way to end the suffering, or the way to end the problem, and that is the actually foundation of Buddha's teaching. Actually, the foundation of the Buddha's teaching, and that is called the Eightfold Noble Path. So there are 8 principles that comes in that. This Eightfold Noble Path begins with having a right understanding. And then once we have a right understanding of it, having a right thought or intention, right intention. And with that, and normally this we can look at it so clear in our day-to-day life. Once we have right understanding, we will be thinking about that specific object or subject, thinking rightly, right? When we think rightly, what will happen? We speak right. We speak. And after we speak, what happens? Our action becomes right. The livelihood becomes, in line with the morals and ethics. So right livelihood. And when we are living with this right livelihood, what happens? Every effort that we apply to live our life with morals and ethics, that becomes a right effort. And that, again, when we are paying attention, a right effort to applying it, our attention is fully focused on this wholesome action. So we have this right concentration. So right mindfulness, we become a right mindful. So our mindfulness we always become aware of what we are doing. Whether we are physically doing, whether we are thinking, whether we are speaking, we will be doing in line with the morals and ethics and natural truth and the reality. And we constantly, so that's the 7th one is the right mindfulness. And then the 8th one is the right concentration. So our concentration will not be from what we have right understood. So our concentration is fully focused on the practice, on the activity that we are doing, and which will be in line with the wholesome action. And that leads to, and now the 2 outcomes. So these are the 8-fold path are the way that you are walking. And then there will be the results. 2 results comes. One is called Sammayana. That means we are acquiring the right wisdom. And that wisdom, again, leads to the right liberation. So 2 results. Real understanding, and then the liberation comes. So that's why Buddha's teachings is the Eightfold Noble Path. And then again, I referred early on today that one who practices the Satipatthana practice is a person who is practicing the Eightfold Noble Path. So there's 2 that goes hand in hand. So that's the Buddha's teaching. Okay. So that's why Buddhism, that it is we are using in our day-to-day life. So practice becomes a part of our life, and that is the practice of being a Buddhist, whether you call it or not. Like that. Okay. Right. Okay. Anyone else? If not, then we will practice loving kindness meditation. Okay. Right. So we will practice loving kindness meditation to finish off today's session. Okay. Now let's practice then. So sitting comfortably. Adjust yourself. And spend some time just aware of the body sitting here and now. Take a couple of deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Relax the body. And settle into your body, relaxing any tension, not holding the body. Let it just relax. And as you feel that your body and mind fully relaxed, and let's breathe naturally. And settle your mind on the primary object, the breath of the abdomen that we practice normally. And spend a few moments working with the primary object, simply settling and grounding yourself on the primary object. Such as if you feel comfortable with the abdomen rising, falling, paying attention to the rise and fall of abdomen. And consciously aware of this process and making a note, conscious note of it. Rising, rising, falling, falling. Our incoming breath, outgoing breath, breathing in, breathing out, in and out. So consciously making a note of it. So it becomes a way to wake our mind up and consciously being in present moment. So while you are paying attention to it and consciously aware of that, settling and grounding your mind on the primary object, whenever any other distraction comes, simply observe, acknowledge, note and let go, observing that mind has taken another object as a secondary object, and acknowledging that that is what we are observing, and noting at that object and let go, without holding, without developing the sense of a pleasure or unpleasantness. Just letting go and back to the object. Now we'll practice the loving kindness meditation. So bring your attention to the body. Feel the sensation in your body. And bring your attention to your hands and to your heart. And as you feel the connection with your heart, developing loving kindness and compassion to yourself, or if you're finding difficult to connect, physically smiling will connect you. So smile and feel the connection with it. And developing loving kindness and compassion. A practice of a meditation is to develop a sense of a freedom from a danger, a suffering, and unhappiness. So let's begin with ourselves. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering. Allowing yourself to be happy, allowing yourself to be free from suffering, which normally very difficult. We normally think of others' welfare and happiness more than ourselves. In the practice of a loving kindness meditation, we have to practice for ourselves first and share with others. So allowing yourself to be happy, well, free from suffering and liberation. And similarly, sharing loving kindness and compassion to all other beings. Starting from near dear one. Any person that you think that they really need at this time. So may they be well, may they be happy, may they be at peace. May they be free from suffering. May they be free from troubles of body and mind. And sharing this loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings. Beings that are around us, in the room, in the city, in the country, on earth, in the universe. Whatever beings there are, visible and invisible, small or big, short or tall, whatever beings there are, may they be happy. May they be well. May they be free from suffering. May they be free from hurtfulness, hatred. May they be free from troubles of a body and mind. May they be liberated. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be free from troubles of a body and mind. May all beings be liberated. So take a long, deep breath and connect to your body. Feel the sensation in your hands. Sensations in your body. Bring your attention to your eyes. And slowly open your eyes and come out from meditation. So as you open your eyes and rub your hands on your face. Right. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. So wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll see you next month. And make sure you practice the instruction that you have received today. So thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Ajahn. Thank you, and thank you for your plan for us for the future, that you're going to teach us with the Satipatthana, which is the best. Looking forward for the next session.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.